Welcome back to the Messy Cook. Today we are making basil pesto. It's coming close to fall. I think the 21st of this month is turning into fall, and it's time to get some of my herbs out of the garden. So every year I make a basil pesto. I will show the recipe at the end. So our ingredients are 3/4 of a cup of olive oil, 3/4 of a cup of fresh grated Parmesan, and I would recommend fresh grated Parmesan. The stuff in the shaker is okay. If that's all you can get, fine. But if not, get it grated at your cheesemonger, or you can buy it whole and grate it yourself. 6 cloves of garlic. I know this looks like a little bit more. There's probably 7 or 8 in there, but that's because a couple of them are smaller. So these are 6 large cloves of garlic. 6 cups of packed basil, 6 packed cups of basil. 3/4 a cup of nuts of your choice. I like to do almonds. These are raw almonds. You can roast them if you like. I don't bother, to be honest with you. Traditionally, basil pesto is made with pine nuts, but you can do any nuts you like. So I always do almonds. It's a little bit cheaper version, and it tastes just as well. I don't miss the pine nuts. Or you can use walnuts or pecans, whatever you like. A tablespoon of lemon juice, which will measure out, probably have a little bit more there, and a teaspoon of salt. So we're going to add these in this order as I've shown you into the Vitamix. We're going to tamp it down and get that basil pesto made. So I'm going to get the Vitamix ready and we'll come right back to it. Okay, now that I've kind of adjusted my counter to get the Vitamix out. Now, if you don't have a Vitamix, that's fine. You can do it in a regular blender. It's a little bit tough, or a food processor works really fantastic. I like doing it in a Vitamix if you have one, because it kind of like, it just brings it together quicker. So again, like I said, we put it in order. So we're going to do 3/4 of a cup of olive oil, good olive oil of your choice. Make sure it's extra virgin, not light, because the light olive oils have sometimes corn oil or vegetable. It's not pure. You want pure extra virgin olive oil. You want to put in 3/4 of a cup of your fresh grated Parmesan cheese. And then we're going to throw in the garlic. Like I said, it's 6 large cloves. I have about 8, but they're not all very big. So I like a little extra garlic. He said this is one of those ones you can add a little bit more, but try it with the 6 good sized cloves the first time. And if it's a little bit too much, then, or not enough, then the next time you make, you can add some more in. We're going to add in those 6 cups of basil. This, get my arm out of the way here. This seems like a lot, and it is. Threw some on the floor there, but one leaf won't hurt. We're just going to pack this down because it does really come together well once you get it all in there. So just pack. Just like when you're making a smoothie, you're adding spinach in there. Just pack it down. It's going to be fine. I think I have that all in there, so we pack that down. On top of that, we're going to put the 3/4 a cup of nuts. Here's our 3/4 of a cup of nuts on top. 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. I'm going to actually measure this lemon juice out. Fresh squeezed really is best. If you don't have, depending on where you are, if you can't get your hands on fresh squeezed lemon, you can buy the, that's a little over, but that's okay. Tablespoon of that. You can use the real lemon in the jars. That would work too. And we have 1 teaspoon of salt. So we're going to sprinkle that on the top. This one recipe makes about, let's see here, about 12 of these jars, and I don't have quite 12 today, so we're going to see if we can have a couple larger jars that we can use as well. So I'll get this on here, get it set up, and we'll start buzzing away and see what you get. Okay, so we're going to put the lid on, take the top out, and use the tamper. If you have a Vitamix, only use your tamper. We're going to start this on low and turn up to high. It does get very, I'll try to see a little bit better. It does get pretty noisy, so please bear with the noise, but it'll be worth it when you see what we do. So we're going to turn this on here on low and turn it up slowly and squish apologize for the noise there, but as you see, this is all nice and done. So I'm going to just take this off. Look at that bright green color. That's the lemon juice, and the salt will help preserve that color. Freezing it, you know, you might think that's kind of strange, but honestly, freezing it, one, helps preserve it, two, helps keep its freshness. So when it's time to pull it out, I usually pull it out in the morning of the day I want to have it, and it's great. So if you take a quick look here, it's a nice consistency. It's nice and smooth. If you want it a little bit, not quite, I like this smooth, but if you don't like it quite as smooth and you like it a little bit more texture or gritty, your best bet is probably to use a food processor for it. So I'm going to get the jars all set over here. They've been washed and sterilized, and we're going to start filling those up. Okay, so we've got the jars ready, and you know what? I'm thinking maybe last year I made a double batch because I don't think this is going to do a dozen jars, but that's okay. You know what? This will give me 8, and I think I still have 3 left from last year because I don't eat it quick enough, but it's a nice treat to make up. You can freeze and give people at Christmas time and go from there. So we're just going to get that plopped in the jars. And you can see how beautiful that is. I don't fill them quite to the brim because when you freeze, you want a little bit of room for expansion as well. So I'm going to continue to fill these up. You can see how well they are. And before we put the lids on, we're just going to wipe the top of the clean cloth, and I'll continue with those and see what we get out of it. Okay, so I ended up with 5 jars. I guess I did, I must have done a double or triple recipe last year and just didn't write it down, but that's okay. So that one recipe makes, these are half a cup, so 2.5 cups, which is still pretty good. And I will write on my lid, Basil Pesto 2023, so I'll know which order to use them in. So that's it. They're not going to seal down like some canning you do when you have something hot in there. This is why I freeze them. And the recipe, so again, I'm going to show you the recipe here. Hopefully we can see this. Oh, there we go. Basil Pesto makes, 3 cups. There you go. Sorry, I did have it written down. 3/4 of a cup of olive oil, 3/4 of a cup of Parmesan, 6 cloves of garlic, 6 cups of basil, 3/4 a cup of nuts of your choice, pine nuts, almonds, or walnuts. You can do a mix as well. 1 teaspoon of lemon juice, 1 teaspoon of salt, and just add everything in order to your Vitamix or to your food processor. Turn on low speed, turn up to high, and let it go until you get the consistency you want. So this is what we have. Again, I hope you enjoy. This is really lovely on pizza, a nice sandwich, chicken, homemade pasta, which I'm going to get to one of these days, and I'll make some homemade pasta. We'll roll it out, and I'll make a nice dish and use some of this pesto. Thanks so much for joining me. I have lots of videos coming soon. I have lots of great fall ideas and some lovely treats coming up. So continue to watch the channel. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And thank you again for coming today. Have a great day, everyone, and enjoy this nice, lovely weather before it gets too cold. Take care.